I've got a clip here of Senator Eric Schmitt. He's from Missouri. He's on the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's also a former Attorney General for the state of Missouri. Um, State Treasurer, and he was a Missouri State Senator. So he's got a little bit of view into several things. This is from a June 24th hearing, and I'm just now getting to this because, well, there's been so much other news, and I don't get to make as many videos as I would like. This is from a hearing called The Thin Blue Line Protecting America from the Cartels. And in it, he doesn't ask questions of anybody. He just shows his frustration, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's a frustration of so many Americans. I've even heard some Democrats that are frustrated with what the Democrats are doing. And I think that people should hear this. I think it's a valid thing for people to hear that there are members of Congress that are hearing how frustrated that we are with what the Democrats are doing. Also, before I show you this clip, which is like 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes long, hit like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. So, here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
And I hope we send them either back to their home country or somewhere else. And it's on that point that I want to use my time to sort of address something here. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding a hearing. I have listened for 6 months to Democrats on this committee for any President Trump nominee that comes here, grilling them about whether or not they're going to follow the law, whether or not they're going to abide by court orders. And through 1,000 different ways to ask the same question, they give the appropriate answer. President Trump, by the way, in his first term and now in his second term, has abided by every single court order. So this newest fake constitutional crisis, and we're on to another one today about Article 2 powers this weekend. There's just a new fake constitutional crisis from the Democrats every single week. But on this one in particular, it is worth pointing out what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday, a radical, liberal, progressive, leftist judge, Brian Murphy, who was confirmed in the lame duck session when Joe Biden, President Otto Penn, may not even have known he was appointing this person, approved by the Democrats in the Senate, is now refusing to obey by a Supreme Court order for the deportation of 7 criminal aliens. And let's just do a little bit of tail of the tape. These people are, one of them is a convicted arsonist. Another one is an armed robber. Another one is a murderer of an elderly woman. 2 more are murderers. One is a child rapist, and another is a rapist of a person with special needs. These are the people that the Democrats spend their time defending. And now we have a judge, through an act of, dare I say, insurrection, which is a word that's thrown around here all the time, is refusing to abide by the Supreme Court's ruling to say, yeah, actually, when you held up these deportations, you were wrong. We are ordering you to allow these deportations. This judge, Brian Murphy, decided to cite the dissenting opinion, and say, you know what, I'm going to give the Supreme Court the middle finger. I don't want to do it. So for all of the nonsense I've heard on this committee about every judge, including the ones from Missouri that were put forth, every nominee, including Pam Bondi, every single person in the administration that's come before the committee, their sort of righteous indignation to sit here and act like they have the moral high ground on obeying court orders and the rule of law, it's all a lie. And the mask has come off because Brian Murphy has shown what this is really all about. The Democrats believe in that, but only when it suits them. And this issue of illegal immigration, I can't actually believe they're doing it. I can't actually believe that this 80-20 issue, the American people want to meet mass migration with mass deportations, period. And their willingness to allow assaults on law enforcement officers who are doing their jobs is insane. What you will not hear, you've heard some Democrats disavow the violence, but what you will never hear any one of them say is that, you know what, we need to take a step back and let ICE do their jobs, because they don't really want ICE to do their jobs. They're totally fine with a bunch of leftist radicals who invaded the White House with President Autopin. They can't believe their luck. They were writing white papers about open borders, and then they were setting policy, throwing our borders open to 15 million people who are here illegally. And when a president comes in, after campaigning on the idea that he was going to deport these 7 people, including an arsonist, a rapist, a murderer, of elderly people, of people with disabilities, that's the line. That's the red line. And now you've got a judge willing to back them up. So this is outrageous, and I don't think it's going to last for very long. But I applaud you for what you do every day. You don't get a lot of thanks. You're put in a impossible position. And I've seen what's been going on in California. It's ridiculous. If you're here illegally, you don't have a right to be here illegally, period. End of story. And guess what? The law says you can be deported somewhere else, like in this case. And the Supreme Court just affirmed that. And now we have a rogue, liberal, leftist district court judge who doesn't want to abide by it. So I don't want to hear any Democrat on this committee who voted for this guy, by the way, ask a Republican nominee if they're going to abide by court orders, because who they voted for isn't doing it. So you want to talk about a real constitutional crisis? There it is. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I will perfectly well admit that I do not know much about Eric Schmitt. I looked him up on Wiki just to get a brief overview, and it was the normal liberal, hey, let's destroy somebody's reputation with fake crises itself, which makes me realize why he is frustrated. And I looked up a few other things here and there. I mean, he seems like a good fella. The normal liberal press saying he's bad, normal conservative press saying he's good. It's that kind of thing. And but I can understand his frustration. He comes from my generation. We're the same age. So I really can understand his frustrations with what's going on. And I thought, hey, this can show you folks that, yes, there are people listening to you that understand y'all's frustrations. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of hope there. So, one quick thing before I go. I'm trying to save up $3,000. Need a little bit of help to do that. Trying to get equipment to make everything better for y'all, and also be able to do other things that would be far better, such as get interviews. If you wouldn't mind to help, if this is on YouTube that you're listening to me, I've got memberships. If this is Rumble or Facebook, or even if you're on YouTube and want to do this, I have a Patreon. I will give y'all a voice on what's being made into video, and a few other perks. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.